Good morning. You are listening to National Real Estate Auction Radio. I am your host, Doug Dennison, and we are broadcasting from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city at WFOY 1240 AM studios. Through the power of the Internet, this program is being streamed worldwide on 1240news.com. The show will also be archived on RyleAuctions.com as they are the host of this program. Additionally, the show will be posted on YouTube.com. We're going to be talking about real estate auctions, past auctions, upcoming auctions, different real estate markets across the country. We have a lot of topics today. We're going to do a little bit different stuff today, and that is, as a real estate agent, real estate broker, real estate firm, and an auction representative and an auction firm, your job really is to market yourself, communicate with potential clients, communicate with your buyers. It's a very, very important part of basically your job and your career. And what we're going to have today, I'm going to mix in some auction stuff, but I'm going to have two PR experts, two marketing experts call us on the line, and let's go to the first one. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Doug. It's Jessica Barton. How are you?
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for calling in. Tell us who you are and where you're from and what do you do?
Sure. My name is Jessica Barton. I reside in Fort Myers, Florida, actually real close to Cape Coral, Florida, the epicenter of the foreclosure universe. Trouble.
Right.
I work for a marketing, advertising, and PR firm. We're Spiro and Associates, and we've been in business for about 25 years. Our primary specialty is real estate marketing, but given the way things have been going around here, we have diversified, but it is the subject that is near and dear to our hearts.
Well, actually, I worked with your firm, 6 years ago, 8 years ago. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but we did an auction in Fort Myers. We had, I'm not sure what the number was, 44 condominiums, and you were the firm that was picked to help us
advertise. I think that was for San Simeon,
yes.
Levitt and Sunday.
Yes, and you guys did a great job. We had a great crowd. I think we sold something like 35 that day, and then with help of some real good local on-site people, we sold, I believe, another 5 or the rest of them in the remaining.
I'm pretty sure the balance of those were executed within the week.
Yeah, oh, there you go. You've got a better memory than me. Perfect. So tell us again, I just kind of prefaced the show saying that as real estate agents and real estate firms and auction firms and auction representatives, our job is to market ourselves, market our product, communicate with our buyers, communicate with our sellers, and tell us, how does your firm help real estate agents and firms or auction agents and firms?
Sure. What we try to do is help each agent and firm find what makes them unique, help them establish their level of expertise. We do that through print ads, social media, direct mail. A lot of times, most of the agents locally are very attentive to their blogs and to the different channels that are available to them. A lot of it helps to have a unique product that you're selling, but it helps that if you can establish with your clients right up front that you're an expert.
Well,
and you have tools that may not be available if they go to somebody else.
You said something about a blog. What is a blog, and how can it help you?
Sure. A blog is sort of your view about what's going on in a particular industry or market. I mean, a blog ultimately is a random string of words that you've put together and posted on the Internet so someone else can find it. But when you're a realtor or doing business, what you can use your blog for is to continuously offer your expertise to others in the market. Blogs help to enhance and increase your website's ratings and rankings. Google and different analytical things, when they're out there trying to decide which sites to put at the top of the search page is looking for the sites that have both the most new content and the most content that other people are reading. So if you're constantly updating the contact on your website with something like a blog, then you're constantly offering new information to the internet, to the web, to the blogosphere, to the people out there, so that they can continuously enhance and increase the wealth of information on your site and make it easier to find.
Well, very good. We're going to
go. Sort of a long explanation, huh?
That was good. That was good. I still want to ask more about that. I want to ask about social media in general. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
MarkNet Alliance is a national, membership-based network of 41 auction companies. Our companies are successful auction professionals with proven track records and thriving businesses. The MarkNet companies have a staff of over 540 employees who are working hard every day to meet the goals of their clients during our ever-changing economy. MarkNet companies are able to achieve these goals through cutting-edge technologies and ever-growing investor pools. To view the hundreds of auctions currently being conducted, or for more information, visit marknetalliance.com.
All right, we're back. This is the National Real Estate Auction Radio Show. I'm your host, Doug Dennison. We're talking to a very fine lady from Fort Myers, Jessica Barton. She's with Spiro and Associates, and that is a PR and marketing firm. Jessica, you're with me still?
Yes, I am.
Great. When we did our auction together, and whether it was 6 or 7 years ago or whatever it was, advertising in the auction world was different than it is today. And less print media, more internet advertising today. Social media options, much more of that today. As an expert, give us kind of the different change and why it changed, and what percentages now, if you're going to be doing an auction for us in Fort Myers, at the end of this year, what would you kind of tell us in regards to percentage of print media and internet and all that kind of good stuff?
Absolutely. Now, it differs by market.
Okay.
Here in Southwest Florida, the people that are making a lot of the home buying decisions are over the age of 55. They are, in many instances, they're new adopters of social media. They weren't the early adopters. They're not the social media natives, but they're looking at it as a tool and putting it in their arsenal and absolutely embracing it. They're kind of new to the party, so to speak.
They're not our kids.
Exactly. So they don't wake up in the morning and log onto the computer as naturally as they drink their first sip of coffee.
Yep.
However, there is statistics and research that show that 85% of the people who are purchasing a home right now have been on the internet and done some research on the internet, at least at some point in the process. Whether they start there, they're going to go to the internet and do their research. So you have to put as much good information out there on the internet for them to find as possible. So say we're doing an auction, or say we're doing a model grand opening. I always like to do a mix of media. I definitely still do print advertising. You look in the market and see which is the most appropriate, best read paper for the target of whom you're trying to attract.
Right.
But then we mix that up with some other channels. Definitely some online presence, usually through that same print publication. If they've got a good digital media presence, then we'll utilize that. We'll also maybe use some radio or some television, a mix of that, especially for a new product or to make an announcement. And then we'll also probably start a social media campaign utilizing Facebook ads or some Twitter feed to make sure that we're targeting as many people through as many mediums as we possibly can.
Well, I've got into LinkedIn, I've got into Facebook, but I haven't got into Twitter yet. Tell me, give me some personal advice on what to do with Twitter, and hopefully our listening audience, they're kind of like me, figuring out what do I do, what do I concentrate on, and how is these type of things going to help me?
Well, and when I look at Twitter, I'm still kind of on the fence on it. I think Twitter is great if you're like J-Lo, or
I'm
you know,
not. I'm not.
or
I'm not like J-Lo. I promise you.
Exactly. Neither am I, fortunately. But you know, if you're a celebrity and you have the need to get a message out quickly and rapidly to as many people as possible, Twitter is great. Otherwise, for you and I think Twitter should be something you do once or twice a week, something that you're very thoughtful about. It's not generally Twitter, unlike Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you have to approve somebody to be your friend, or if you've got a business page, they like you and you can see who they like you. On Twitter, people can follow you, and you don't have to approve it in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So you maybe are a little bit more careful about what kind of message you construct and put out there.
Well, I see by TV and you know the internet that some of these celebrities get in trouble every once in a while by maybe tweeting out a little bit too early and maybe not the best messages.
Well, and I think that's something you have to be careful with digital communications, because people are typing instead of taking the time and, you know, composing something. You have 140 characters, and once you hit send, it's gone. It's
gone.
out there. It's hard to call it back.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember, with digital communications, like with any other communication with your clientele and your vendor base and what have you, be thoughtful and take your time. Yep. And if you can't find an appropriate way to say it, type it on maybe a Word document on your desk and think about it for a little bit and craft it, and be as careful with that communication. Don't be so casual. Think about it.
Yep.
It's good advice in any kind of communications that you do, but especially with things where it just seems like, oh, you know, let me just whip something out about blank, and maybe you go back to it 2 days later and it wasn't quite what you needed to say.
Is Facebook more, what's the word? I guess social, friends, and LinkedIn is more business to business. Is that the deal?
You were going to characterize the two, yes. But if you look, there are a lot of really big brands and retailers doing an excellent job being friendly, so to speak, with their customer base on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
People like Facebook or like businesses on Facebook for one of two or three reasons. Number one, they're really appreciative of the brand. They're supporters of it. They're proud to utilize that brand in their day-to-day business, and they want you to know about it. They're willing to announce that to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do that, they're looking for something in return. They want that brand's expertise on things related to that brand, and they want deals. They want bargains, or they want to feel like they're part of a special fan club, and like that brand is going to offer them something really interesting. When I was doing my Facebook, bouncing around this morning and posting for our various clients, I'm sure you've heard of the Melting Pot, fabulous fondue restaurant.
Okay, right.
Every Friday they have Fondue Fanatic Friday, and they pose a question nationally. They don't even have to do it at a per-restaurant location, on a per-location basis. They pose a question, and they give somebody a $50 gift card to the Melting Pot based on the answers. Now, you and I know $50 doesn't go very far at a place like the Melting Pot, but they'll have 4,000 or 5,000 people respond to that.
Wow.
On a weekly basis.
Wow.
And only one of them gets $50. But all of them are willing to stand up and say, I love the Melting Pot. So somebody at the Melting Pot is doing their job. It's a brand that is well-liked and well-loved. It's associated with happy occasions. But they're doing the right thing by making you, by interacting with their listeners or their audiences in such a way that they're willing to come back and endorse their product. That's a Facebook success story.
That is a Facebook success story. And it is amazing that it's kind of like a game, any kind of contest, whether it's for $25, $100, or whatever. It's kind of like, I want to win, and
Absolutely.
The competition. And so very interesting. Folks, you real estate brokers and auction firms out there, that you might want to think about something like that. I like that idea. What is a internet newsletter?
An e-newsletter or an internet-based newsletter is your opportunity to, as opposed to printing something out and mailing it and costing yourself, I guess, 45 cents now a piece of mail, plus the printing cost, you can create something of equal or better quality and make it even more interactive, because different articles can link to an area of your website or maybe a specific listing, and the cost is maybe 2 cents per to send it out to your customer base or your prospect base. So it's a much more economical way to communicate with people. There is and probably has about as much penetration rate, that 1% to 2% that are going to open it and actually read it.
Right.
Which is, that's a good use of your time and money.
Okay. And so, does it need to be a couple pages, just one page? I mean, everybody has such a short attention span today.
I would keep it succinct. Okay. I would maybe keep each article to 200 or 300 words at the most, and in the format that you email out, maybe only show the first paragraph of each article, and if they click on it, they can read more. So,
really, you've got to be good at titling a message.
Absolutely, you've got to draw them in. We actually have had a writing course internally at the agency where we all spent time brainstorming e-blast titles, because the title is what's going to make you open the email.
Exactly.
Is it maybe it's a brokerage offering 6%.
Mm-hmm.
If that's it's like writing. It's like newspaper 101. It's like writing a press release, and you want to put your best stuff right up front. Now you don't even get into the actual first paragraph. You've got to give it all away in the headline.
And that would be similar in Facebook and blogs and LinkedIn. Anytime you post, if you want somebody to read it, you've really got to title it kind of catchy.
Yeah, you don't need to be coy. I mean, it doesn't have to be cute. If you're going to offer somebody $50,000 because they're the first person that signed up to like your website, then say that. Don't, we're going to have a contest maybe in 3 days. Plan it, be organized with it, and put it right out there.
Well, I'm not sure my boss is willing to do that $50,000 thing, but that is.
People get excited over T-shirts. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Although you and I know in the real estate industry, money talks.
Yes.
So
yes, it does.
That is the incentive to do a good job. You're going to be able to earn more and help your clients in a better way. So you need to be upfront about that.
I like your ideas. What do you see in upcoming new marketing PR trends as you're a professional in that southwest area of Florida? Tell us your thoughts as far as upcoming trends.
I think people 10 years ago, you had a website because you thought you had to. You didn't really know what to do with it. And now people are, have refined their use of their website, and they know what it's supposed to do, and they know why they have one. Now it's, 2 years ago, people thought, I better have a social media presence. And they weren't real sure what they were going to do with it. They put up a Facebook page, they got their 20 friends and family to like it, and they haven't really moved on beyond. So I think now people are being more thoughtful about how they use social media and understanding that it's a relationship and a gateway. You don't get a fan and make a sale. You get a fan and you open a line of communication. You start building a relationship with a potential sale. I think beyond that, people are really into QR codes and other ways to use digital tools to help them sell what they're selling. We've done a couple of digital applications for people. We built a mobile phone app called iAgent 21 for a local Century 21 rep, and basically it puts all of their MLS listings at the touch of their fingertips on an iPad or a cell phone, so as they can give it to their clients and let them search for their kinds of homes, and then it can email the agent and let them know when they've got the homes narrowed down to the ones they want to see. I think people are just embracing technology and letting it find new ways to help them do their job. Well,
that's very good. When do you kind of know that you're overdoing it? When you're emailing out to potential clients too much, whether it's with a newsletter or look at my blog or posting.
Think of it like stalking. If it would be inappropriate to follow somebody and find them and be face-to-face with them, and it's inappropriate to do it with digital communications.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't drive by a potential client's house 3 times in 1 week, because that's creepy.
Okay.
And you probably don't want to communicate with him digitally 3 times in 1 week.
Would you suggest, and again, you do a lot in a real estate firm, if I'm a real estate agent and I've got a potential client, is that, and nothing hot on the burner, kind of a deal, but still fishing a little bit for a potential deal down the road. And I absolutely believe what you're saying as far as relationship building and building for that sale. It sometimes takes a long time, but is it once a week? Is it once every 2 weeks? What do you suggest?
Well, on something like a Facebook page for a realtor, I would go maybe twice a week, and then the sorts of things that you post are the things that indicate that you're an expert. One of the rules that we say on social media is the 60-40 rule. 60% of your communications should be about your industry and demonstrating that you know and understand different topics within your industry, whether it's sales trends or current home values or what have you. And then the other 40% can be kind of tooting your own horn, maybe showing a listing of the week or showing a home that I just sold or talking about a new hire or an expansion in your office or whatever it is. If you're going to communicate with your clients via email or e-blast, once a week, twice a month is appropriate.
Okay.
But nothing replaces that actual relationship of picking up the phone and calling that prospect and saying, you know, I was thinking of you today. I drove by a specific house that I thought you might be interested in. Or I was just thinking, you know, I haven't spoken to you in a while. Would you like to have a cup of coffee or sit down for lunch? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and using those communications to initiate face-to-face contact.
Is that a danger that with this internet world that we're really stopping calling people as much? We're texting, we're emailing. Is that a danger?
Yes. I have clients that I only meet with twice a year. And every time we get together, we're like, wow, we should do this more often. Look how much we accomplished, you know? And maybe they're only like 3 miles down the road, but we get into the habit. I have another client I get 52 emails from a day. Maybe we over-communicate a little bit. But there's just nothing that replaces sitting across the table from someone. And we are so lucky in the way that we live today. We don't have to page somebody and call them back. We don't have to just, let me put that in the mail and you'll get it in 3 days.
Yep.
There's a lovely sense of immediacy. On the other hand, it can make things go so quickly that you forget to observe the social niceties that are part of what makes us human and, you know, makes relationships worth having.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for calling in. How can people get a hold of you and your company?
Oh, please. You can visit us online at www.spiro, S-P-I-R-O, and associates.com. You've got to spell it all out. There's no such thing as an ampersand on the web. So please do visit our site. It's brand new. It just got launched this week. So if you can't find it or you don't like it, I don't want to know. No, I'm just kidding. Or, of course, you can find us on Facebook. Go to Facebook and search for Spiro and Associates. Spell it all out, and again, we'll see you there. Thank you so much, Doug.
Well, thank you so much, Jessica, and I really appreciate you calling on this Friday afternoon. You have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, great interview. Lots of tips from Jessica Barton from Spiro and Associates in Fort Myers, Florida, for real estate people, for auction people, firms, and the general public too. You know, we're all in sales in one manner of speaking, and they had some very, very good tips. Again, our job here is to provide an educational experience for listeners in a promotional format for auctions across the country. We're going to go for the half-hour break. We'll be coming right back. We've got some more people going to be calling in. Thank you very much.
The introduction of new products and faster techniques are a good thing, but not at the expense of quality and comfort. This is Gerard Meeks at Arnett Heating and Air Conditioning, and this is especially true in our profession. During the 38 years I have owned this business, I have witnessed a steady deterioration of quality and professionalism in the air conditioning business, and much of this can be attributed to what I call a tract housing mentality. New construction, unfortunately, has replaced quality and performance with lowest possible cost, and the eventual owner inherits all the problems that this type of mentality creates. Regardless of the type or efficiency of the equipment installed, improper design and installation of the duct system will result in poor airflow and comfort, and this is unacceptable. If refusing to lower my standards makes me a dinosaur, then so be it, because this very philosophy has served Arnett well for the past 78 years. Thank you, and remember, Go out and make yourself a good day.
Come on out to the St. Augustine and St. Johns County Flea Market where the fun begins. There's old, new, and unique items every weekend. Bargain basement prices and something for everyone. Just in time for Christmas shopping. There's a great farmer's market and Charlie's Famous Barbecue. You haven't had barbecue until you try Charlie's, and you won't find better baked beans. Churches and charities get a free booth 2 days each month. Business owner display 50% off rental prices. RV parking and outside storage, the best prices in the Tri-County area. Second month free on outside storage. Every Saturday and Sunday, the St. Johns County Flea Market is open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. State Road 207 and I-95. Diane's Natural Market has been voted St. Augustine's best health food store 12 years running. As you'd expect, Diane's offers a wide variety of natural and organic foods as well as a huge selection of vitamins, herbs, teas, and coffee. But Diane's, just like regular grocery stores, carries things like beer and wine, shampoo and cosmetics, and made-to-order sandwiches and homemade soups. The difference is the stuff at Diane's is better for you. Call 808-9978 or visit us at dianesnaturalfoods.com. Better yet, stop by Diane's and see for yourself. And don't forget to vote Diane's Natural Market as best health food store in this year's The Best of St. Augustine.
Thanks to all of our loyal customers for voting Carmelo's Pizzeria Best Pizza in St. Augustine. At Carmelo's, you will only get the freshest toppings combined with grande mozzarella cheese on a thin New York-style crust. It's the best tasting, highest quality pie that we are sure you have ever tasted. Carmelo's also serves calzones, strombolis, and many other Italian specialties. We feature Boar's Head products served on our pizzas, subs, and salad. And we also sell meat and cheeses by the pound. If you are looking for a place to watch your favorite event on high-definition TV, visit us in our dining room and enjoy our awesome wings and other appetizers as well as a large selection of beer and wine. We offer call-ahead service and delivery to a limited area. Our family has been in St. Augustine for almost 100 years, and our reputation means everything. When you visit Carmelo's, expect to have an excellent, authentic Italian meal and be treated like family. Give us a call today at 904-494-6658 or visit us on the web at www.carmelosmarketplace.com.
Okay, we are back. You are listening to the National Real Estate Auction Radio Show. I'm your host, Doug Dennison. We broadcast every Friday live from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city at WFOY 1240 AM studios. Our sponsor is Rowell Auctions. They are a national real estate auction firm that started in 1936. They do online auctions, on-site auctions, and ballroom auctions. They have offices in Florida, New Jersey, California, Georgia, and other alliances with auctioneers and real estate brokers across the country. They do government auctions, bank auctions, bankruptcy auctions, and much more. They've got a big auction schedule coming up, so check out their website at www.rowellauctions.com, or you can call them at 800-323-8388. They actually have 250 properties for a bank coming up for auction, so that's pretty exciting. In fact, very, very exciting. We also have a luxury home over in Englewood, Florida, right on the water. You'll want to go to their website to check it out. Again, that's www.rowellauctions.com. We're talking about PR and marketing and making sure that you're doing the right things and not forgetting anything when you, as a real estate person or an auction representative or a real estate firm, when you're the boss of the real estate firm and trying to give some help to your agents, and you're the CEO of an auction firm, trying to let those representatives know what to do in regards to sending out messages to potential clients, past clients, buyers. How do you relate to them? How do you use PR and marketing skills? So let's go on to our next caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. It's Brandy Truex. How are you?
Hey, Brandy. Hey, thank you so much for calling in. Tell us again who you are, where you're from, and what company are you with?
Well, my name is Brandy Truex, and I am with Upright Marketing Solutions, and I collaborate with Communications Group, and I'm from Boca Raton, Florida.
Well, very, very nice. You know, I looked at your bio, and you've got quite a past in the PR marketing area. Kind of give us a little bit about that. I saw that Sun Sentinel part, and And, of course, I lived in South Florida for many years. Tell us your background.
Well, I've been involved with PR my whole life, from high school all the way up till now. I had a background in working with nonprofits and cities and doing a lot of event promotion and marketing those events, and doing a lot of sales to get sponsors. And then I moved on and worked for the Sun Sentinel and was their marketing person for Palm Beach County back in the heyday before newspapers started taking a downturn. I was part of the push into Palm Beach County, which Sun Sentinel, if you're from South Florida, is primarily a Broward-based newspaper, and I was chosen to head up pushing the newspaper and expanding its territory, and it was an exciting time for the newspaper industry, and we were very successful in doing that. But along the way, I was able to learn a lot of tricks and tips, and did some untraditional marketing and some very traditional marketing, and got to see what worked and what didn't work. It was a great experience.
Well, nice. I'm from St. Augustine, Florida, but I was down in South Florida meeting with clients earlier this week, and I got a chance to sit with you and Ray, and I appreciate your time and effort. I was looking to kind of get some marketing and PR tips, and you two were wonderful in giving some insight and some advice. Into real estate and auction firms, what we do is we go out to buyers and potential sellers, kind of tell them what we do, what's available for them, and it's not a quick sale. It's not a hi Fred, you want to auction your property? I'll send you something today. It's a relationship building type of arena where, to be honest, it could be several years before I get another deal from that person. And so give us some tips as a PR and marketing expert, what you would do to maintain that kind of relationship, and throw in the social media thing, if you would.
Okay. Yes, one of the things when we met, we talked a little bit about public relations, we talked about marketing, and we talked about social media. And social media is such a big buzzword right now, especially amongst people who have been in the business or in their business, truly any business, for a long time, and have been doing, some of the traditional marketing, whether it be newspaper ads or magazine ads and things like that. And all of a sudden, there's this social media stuff, and it's, what is that? How does that work? It's free. It can't work. Does it really work? Is anyone really watching that, listening to it, paying attention to it, acting on it? And the answer is yes, they are. The statistics are amazing, but there's 600 million people on Facebook, and Twitter is got almost as many, and there's 100 million people on LinkedIn, and you have to wonder, how can I manage all of this? And it's actually not that hard. And one of the things that we do at Communications Group and Upright Marketing Solutions is we help companies come up with a very easy-to-execute plan. We develop marketing and PR strategies, meaning we talk with you and we dig into who your best clients are, who your best past clients are, who your potential clients are, and then we figure out the best way to reach those people on a continual basis, so that you remain top of mind. And that's the key in this industry and in this world right now, is how do you keep people remembering you and coming back to you when they need you. So there's quite a few things you can put out there to make sure people remember you and think of you with respect. So one of the things that we do is we try to come up with a plan to figure out what your unique and differentiating aspects are. Maybe if you're a real estate agent or an auction firm, the best thing we can help you with is if you're an expert in one area or in a certain industry, and really trying to build up your expertise and making people aware of your expertise and making people aware of that you're the best at that industry, and that you should always come back to your company to get that advice and for them to seek your wisdom and your know-how in that industry. So we try to come up with ways to make sure people know that. And a couple of ways in social media are and it can be overwhelming. So I'm just going to kind of hone in a little bit. But if you've never done anything with social media, and you're an individual salesperson or you're a company with a lot of salespeople, I recommend doing Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are the two, if you only have a limited time and you want to start out, those are the two I would start out in. It's the best way to communicate with people in a way that you've got friends and they opt in to ask and look for your information, so you're not pushing information out to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. To be honest, I first started with LinkedIn not as a marketing tool per se, but in my business, I deal with bankers and bankruptcy attorneys and government officials, and they move. I mean, it's not like the old days where you'd stay at a job for 10 years. I mean, I'm going to guess the average stay at a job now is maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years.
Yep.
And so everybody moves on, and a lot of times you don't know that, and so you're trying to find that person. And, when you finally call the bank, they say, well, that information is, confidential. And so you don't get a chance to get back to those people. And LinkedIn and Facebook was a way that I found to find these people. And it's been very effective. So I would say to my real estate and auction cohorts, that is a very good tool, whether you're marketing or not, to basically drill down and find those people that you've done business with before.
Right. And then it's super important to take those tools to the next level.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, and maybe you have. Have you had any experience with doing that?
Not as much or not as well as I'd like, Brandy. So teach me.
Well, a couple of things that are really simple to do, and some of the, when you read about LinkedIn and some of the things that I advise is all you have to do is spend about 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn. And one of the best advice I ever got was set a timer, because you can get lost on Facebook and you can get lost on LinkedIn because you're reading about people that you knew or and you want to see their pictures, you want to hear what they're doing, you want to see what they're doing now and what business they're in. And so you can get lost, so it's important to limit your time on those social medias, but also very important to spend time every day on them. The first thing I recommend is that you constantly connect with people. So getting on there every day and going to people you may know, which is under the contacts and then under connections. Go to people you may know, scan that for just a couple of minutes, see if there's maybe, I always try to at least do one or two that I can connect with, and then I go into the groups. And there are all kinds of groups out there that specialize in the industries that you might be specializing in. And then what I recommend is not only join some groups, but then look at the questions they're posing and see if you can't comment. Oh, gosh, I had an experience with that once, and this is what happened. Or, my advice on that is to do this, this, and this. And that will just keep you top of mind. It will also keep you current in the LinkedIn scrolling. When you go to that home page and you see, John Smith just connected with so-and-so. And
yep.
Tara, it keeps you in that, and that's important. I think that's very important because those 10 people that you get to see if they're always connecting, they're always there, and you're reminded of them. So that's my tip, my very, simple tips with LinkedIn is to do that. The second thing I recommend on Facebook is to make sure that you connect with all kinds of people, not only your friends and family, but your potential clients, your past clients, all that, and then make lists. And it's a pretty simple thing to do to make some lists, but that way you aren't lost in that general news feed. You can go over your list. Want to explain it. They change, Facebook all the time, so you have to kind of keep up with things. But you make these lists, and that way it's really simple for you to look at your prospects or people that you want to keep in touch with, or current clients, and you can look and see what their news feeds say. And if it's their birthday, say happy birthday, or if they just did something that you just did, make sure to comment on that. those are my two important things, to make Facebook and LinkedIn priorities every day, spend 10 minutes, and make it easy to use so that you can not waste your whole day using them. Make it very simple and strategic, and then get off and get on with your day.
Well, it's just a different medium, but good salespeople would do that 10 years ago when they would look at the newspaper and see one of the people they know in the paper, in a picture perhaps, or a quote, and then what do? You either call them or you write a note, and that's a way of staying in touch and praising the people, and you can do that immediately here with Facebook and LinkedIn.
Absolutely. You can even use it as a way, either LinkedIn or Facebook, to send a note, hey, it was good seeing you last week at the networking meeting that you went to, or if you saw them at Starbucks, and just make sure that you stay top of mind. So they are important things to incorporate into your day in this new internet age that has taken us over.
You talked about being an expert in your field, and newspapers and magazines still help that a great deal. If you can get a story about something you've done or something that's upcoming or some accomplishment, if you can get that into the paper, and then I believe you and I talked about reprints, and then maybe using those reprints in a variety of ways. Give us a little bit more deeper explanation on that.
Sure. The media is an instant way to get credibility. When someone reports, on you about, when people read something in the newspaper that you have said, it gives you instant credibility. It makes you an expert in your field. So it's very important to make sure that you maintain relationships with your media, and that is something you also can do on LinkedIn and on Facebook. But one of the things that we were talking about was how it is really important to make sure that you put your story out there, and if you are an expert in your field, and like I said, we can help determine how we can pitch you being an expert in what way. We get the media to do a story, or we produce a story, and that's the public relations aspect. We tell your story in a way that is enticing and interesting to the media. So when your story gets picked up by media, then we use that reprint, and we use it in a variety of ways, from on your LinkedIn, your Facebook, and in your ways that you communicate with your prospects by saying, look, Steve, we were just printed in the Wall Street Journal. This is something that's really important to us, and it should be important to you. We want to let you know how we're helping your industry right now with this issue, or with this subject, or with this, the sales climate, or whatever it might be.
Well, for instance, you met Tommy Rao, the CEO of Rao Auctions, when we were together on, was it Tuesday? It was Tuesday. And
yes,
we have 250 properties that are owned by a bank that they're going to sell, many of them absolute. And so we advertise that, but you were saying that a great opportunity would be to get a story out, and then to get that out to the rest of the people. Again, added credibility, and I believe in that.
Yes, I think it's when you have an opportunity like that with 250 properties. What we do is we try to come up with what might be interesting to the media, because what's interesting necessarily to you and me might not be necessarily interesting to the media, and they have a different viewpoint. So the importance of hiring a PR firm and marketing firm is because we are trained in how to communicate with the media, and how to, the word is spin your story, so that it will get picked up. And that is what we are good at. One of the ideas, that we presented to you, I really don't want to promote it all over on the air, because I want to make sure that we can keep that as an idea for you and for Raw Auctions. But we did come up with a great idea of a way to make
sure that you guys are an expert in the auction field, and then hopefully we'll pitch that out there. It'll get a lot of attention, and then we can use that the reprints from the media to just show off again how important the auction company in this field is. It's just another way to communicate. And like I said, being printed in the newspaper just adds credibility to your company and to the people that work there, because you are paying attention to what is going on in your industry, and you're doing something about it, and you're commenting on it. And that's really, really important. And so many people just pay attention to sales and every day are digging into sales. And what we do is we help you step away a little bit, see the forest through the trees, and give you that view so that you can promote what your company can do to help others. Instead of just worrying about sales all day, we help you reposition your company and show off your expertise.
Well, I liked what you had to say for sure. And Mr. Rowell, his comment was that we do a pretty good job marketing, but we don't do such a good job with PR. And give us, the textbook definition. What's the difference between PR and marketing?
Okay. The difference between PR and marketing, public relations is really communicating with the media, making sure that the media knows your story and the media tell your story in magazines, print, newspaper, and on TV. Mm-hmm. Marketing is a way for you to strategize on how to reach your ideal clients. So it's a little more targeted, and it's more controlled by the company. PR and marketing often go in together because they're a great marriage. You're telling your story and you're branding your company in a certain way with your direct mail pieces, with your advertising pieces, and you have certain messages you want to get out. And then what the PR aspect is creating that message in a way that the media then wants to pick it up as well. So you start off with your marketing and what target markets you want to reach, and you have your messages and the things that you want people to know about your company and what you're good at, what you're experts at, and then we take it to the next level and tell the story to the media in a way that the media then wants to do a story on it. So it's complementary. You see a billboard on the highway, you see an ad on TV, and then all of a sudden there's a story on the front page of the local section about the same thing you just saw 3 other places. Because the magic of marketing and advertising is people have to see it over and over and over again before they remember it. That's why oftentimes when people say, well, where did you hear about our company? And they go, I've just always known about your company. They really can't tell you. Because if you're doing a good job at what you're marketing and PR, they've seen you in a dozen places, and now it's clicking. And that's the point of PR marketing is you've got to get your message out there in several ways before someone actually remembers you and remembers to go to you. And so with this new internet marketing and social media, you're able to even take a little more control of people seeing you. If you've got a good marketing plan, then your message is consistent.
It's funny because in auctions we do spend a lot of money advertising and marketing and a variety of newspapers and magazines. Magazines not so much, because auctions, one of the great things about auction for a seller is that it's quick. And so usually magazines are monthly, and we may not hit the target, but now there's the internet advertising from the magazines. But people, I'd say, how do you find out about the auction? And they'd say, the Wall Street Journal. And I said, oh, great, that's wonderful. And knowing full well that we didn't advertise in the Wall Street Journal or
right.
So you're exactly right. They don't know where they heard about the auction or your firm, because hopefully they were bombarded with 5 or 6 different ways that we contacted them. And, you're exactly right. Tell us about future trends that you see in marketing and PR, if you would.
Well, the future trend is
constantly changing is what the future trend is. You know, they're saying that the information world it's going to change, whereas it used to change every 100 years, now it's changing every 75 days. I mean,
wow.
And that's a challenge, you know, and it's a challenge that we're all facing, and so none of us are alone. And that's the part where it's so overwhelming when someone says it's constantly changing and you have to keep up. Well, then, you know, take a step back and go, you're not by yourself. Everyone is dealing with the constant change. What I can say is embrace social media, embrace technology, and start to learn how to use it to your advantage and figure out what's working and what's not working. Get some advice from a consultant, get some advice from a PR marketing firm, and use some of their advice, and then continually try to keep the conversation going with other people who are using it. Find out what's working and what's not working for them, but embrace it and use it, because I think that is the future, is that it's going to be always changing, and you're going to have to constantly keep up. But that's not a negative, because what's happening is the world is changing around us, and people are making connections in ways that are so different than the past. We really are getting very personal, and we're all experts in a certain way, and it's how you present yourself and how you connect with others. And that's always been the way. I mean, it's when all we ever had was networking events, it was how you really connected with other people and how you made them feel and how you were able to communicate what you could do to help them. Not what you can do and how great you are, but what you can do to help them. That is what's important. And we've just technology's only made it easier to do that. But it's making connections, making relationships, and building those relationships and not letting them go. So that's the trend is that we're going to continue to change. But it's an exciting way in that we have such access to so many people. And we can control our own message now, too. Through our blogs and through newsletters and through what we comment on LinkedIn and what we comment on Facebook or what we put out there on Twitter. You know, we have a little more control over our personal brand and the relationships we want to create.
Brandy, how can people get a hold of you? Because this has been a fascinating interview. You're very well versed, of course, and it's an area where real estate agents and auction firms probably need some help on. So tell us how to get in touch with you.
Well, my email is really simple. It's brandytruex, BrandyTruex @gmail.com. And my phone number is 561-601-5566. And if you want to get in touch with Ray Bijati, who owns Communications Group. Mm-hmm. See, I'm just looking up his phone number is on my phone. I want to make sure I get the right number to you.
No problem.
His phone number is 561-859-8421. And you can reach Ray at RAYB, he as in boy, at communications-group.com.
Very, very good. Hey, Brandy, thank you so much for taking the time and giving me a call, and for our listeners, great advice, great expertise, and again, thank you so much for calling on this weekend.
You're welcome. It was great talking to you too, Doug. Thanks so much.
Take care now. All right. Great stuff. Very exciting to have new people, new perspective calling in. And we will be back next week on the National Real Estate Auction Radio Show. Thank you for listening very much.